Hey guys, Jinsk here, and today I want to talk, since we didn't have any tuning changes, today I want to talk about Warlocks and why Warlocks feel bad to play in Arena if you don't play with a Shadow Priest and with an Elemental. I'm gonna make this a really short video because it's really easy to understand. So if you play with an Elemental or with a Shadow Priest, what happens is your kiting gains a lot of value. Why? Because you forced the enemy team to commit to you. What happens then is that either your Shadow Priest or your Elemental do a lot of damage to the DPS or even to the healer. For example, as Shadowplay, the best go it's always on the healer with Mind Game, Silence, Stun, and with UA up, which means he can't really heal unless he dispels, and if he dispels, he can actually get low enough for a Shadow Word death, right? So that's why that comp is good. In terms of Elemental, it's the one bang from the Elemental, where if melee just commits to the Warlock and the Warlock is in the back, the elemental can just cut off the healer from the melee, can harass the healer, can interrupt, can hex him, and then just bangs the DPS, right? So those are pretty much the main reasons why Warlock caster is so good. It just allows you to go back because the melee won't commit to you, right? And by the time they don't commit and they actually swap to your other DPS, you start doing a lot of damage with Malefic Rapture, Dark Soul, and you just start to be super aggressive on them, even though you don't go into them, obviously. That's the reason why these comps are really good at the moment. The problem though with affliction is when you don't play one of those comps and you can't really force the melee out of you. So I play with the Windwalkers. We play Windwalker, Lock Shaman, and what happens is pretty much always the same. They just train me to the ground, and even though I know how to kite, and even though I do kite them, and I do kite them for a long time, and whenever I'm not kiting them, I'm actually just faking some of the kicks. I can't, obviously, no one can fake every single kick, but I try to fake them and then go back to my rotations, my my kiting. The problem is they are not only hitting you, they are also hitting your Windwalker, right? So they are actually cleaving off you. So what happens sometimes when I kite, when I get back on the port, for example, and I start to kite them, they just turn to my Windwalker, and by the time I get to them again, especially if we are really far away, they can already swap to me again. And that is a huge problem because I don't have any mobility, and I should have been like far away, far away, far away, but I can't, else I don't really get pressure. And by swapping on my Windwalker, they force him back as well, right? Like a red with wings and a warrior with avatar, it means that my Windwalker needs to port and get out of there as fast as he can, which once again just allows them to go on me. And that is the main problem. We don't have enough survivability for that part. Like my Windwalker has always to be peeling for me the whole game. He can't really be aggressive on enemy healers, even though they are just spam dispelling kind of my ways. And whenever I kite, he's getting wrecked. Okay, if a warrior doesn't have leap, he's just gonna hit the Windwalker, right? He just turns to the Windwalker with Avatar and just gets 50% of his HP in like 2 globals, and then if it's a red, they can actually kill him. There's actually a lot of games where I'm not the one dying, it's actually my Windwalker, because he has to use his defensives to be aggressive on them so they can't push in on me, but that means that they just ignore the karma, they just go on me anyways, and then they the moment I go into kiting mode, they just swap on him and they just kill him, and there's not much I can do, especially if it's a warrior. It just has Zerk Rage. So yeah, that's the problem. How do you fix this though? The problem, it's super simple. It's survivability. Demon armor needs a buff. Just needs to reduce damage by 20%. Then we need more single target pressure through Nightfall. It's hitting for way too less. And then after some tunings, I think Malefic Rapture just shouldn't be a thing in PvP. I think the damage should be shifted to dots. to Nightfall, and and you kind of fix warlocks. The problem right now is that if you play with an elemental or a shadow priest, you don't really feel the pain and the anger and the fucking despair of a warlock who is playing with another melee that is not a rat, for example. And it shouldn't be the case. Like every single caster you see right now, it's kind of viable with every single melee except for warlocks. And sorry, but it's really tired. I'm really tired. Okay, guys, I'm just tired of not being able to play with my friends. You know, like I have a Shadow Priest friend, but he plays really late at night, and like I can play with him and all, but I want to be able to play with him, and I want to be able to play with my Windwalker friend. I still haven't done too many games of Shadow play, but at some point, like if I want to actually push high rating, Gladiator is fine, okay? Like 2-4, it's a joke. I'm already 2266, like I'm gonna get Gladiator regardless. But I just want to feel competitive. Right now, Affliction feels viable to do to two comps, Shadowplay and Lock Elemental variations. But then it's not competitive, okay guys? You can't really play with a warrior. You can't really play with a Windwalker. If you try to play with a rogue, you're just gonna be in a world of pain. Like, and it feels so bad. It for the third expansion in a row, Affliction being this bad, and in BFA was completely unplayable, and in Legion, if you didn't play with a Frost Mage, you should never fucking log in as Affli. Just feels so bad. And sorry for rambling in this last part, but I don't know. I've played this game since TBC. Every single season I actually played, that I tried, I got really high rated. Like I haven't tried since Wrath of the Lich King, and I wanted to try in Shadowlands, and it's just pain, man. It's just a lot of pain because I just want to be able to log in my Warlock, and if my Windwalker friend is online, I just want to be able to play with him without being punished for doing so and having to wait for a Shadow Priest to log in or an Elemental to log in. Like it. I was watching Mercy, and this is the last thing I'm gonna say. I was watching Mercy yesterday with Min Poike, and it felt so easy. Like I know they are really good players, but the comp itself, it felt so easy. And I played some LSD on my ult and Shadowplay on my ult, and it's just so much easier. Like you don't even need their games. You don't even need to go into soul shape because the enemy team knows that you have it, and if they commit to you, they get into a spot where they can actually just die. And you can't do that as any other comps. Like. I don't know, man. I'm gonna stop here the video, but I'm really hoping for a damage shift from Malefic Rapture, so Shadowplay and LSD are not completely broken, which at the moment they are, and from Malefic Rapture they should just increase dot damage, and they should just increase the Demon Armor to be a flat 20% damage reduction. All I want to be able is just be aggressive, like be able to blink in CS and then fear someone, or blink in Howl, or blink in Coil. But if I do that with the current comp I'm playing, I'm just dead. And this is what people need to understand. It's not a problem about my kiting. You can see the VODs, and obviously there are some games where I fuck up my kiting, but so does Shanimals, so does Darkrod, so does Mercy, and I bet Walrix as well, and they don't get punished as much, like because they are playing really good comps for the spec. And yeah, this is the difference between being competitive and being viable, is We are at the moment we are viable. We have two really good comps, but we are not competitive because you don't have comps built around the strengths of the affliction warlock. You have comps built around the strengths of the other classes. And yeah, I hope they fix this class, man. I hope they fix this spec. The spec it's actually more fun than in BFA and Legion. I just want to be able to play the game, man, and have fun. Like I get here and like 4 losses just because they completely destroy me, man. Like it's not fun. It's not fun, and when they don't kill me, they kill me my Windwalker because he has to use defensives in order to be aggressive to save me. So if you don't play at high ratings or higher, this is no longer high rating. If you don't play at high ratings without a Shadow Priest and an Elemental, just don't say the class is fun because it's not. Just try it out. Try it out with a melee, um, and then talk about it. I don't know, man. This feels super awkward. But yeah, guys, I'm rambling way too much now, and I'm gonna stop. Peace. Merry Christmas, obviously. Peace.